Tom Bower is a very famous man who writes books about the lives of important people. He just finished a book called Revenge. This book is all about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry and the big fight they're having with their family. Tom is a very smart man who does a lot of homework before he ever writes a single word. He spent a very long time looking for secrets and checking every story to see if it was really true. People respect him a lot because he always has proof for the things he says. He has very good friends who tell him secrets that most people never hear. If someone says that Tom is telling a lie, he usually has a paper or a photo to show that he is actually right. He has been working on a second book for a long time now. This new book will tell even more secrets about Prince Harry and Meghan. It is a very big deal because it will show the real story of what is happening behind the palace doors. Everyone is waiting to see what he will say next because his words are very powerful. Tom is very careful not to just make up stories about Harry's childhood. He wants to focus on the things that are happening right now. He is looking at how fast things are changing for the couple. This new information is very interesting to everyone who follows the royal family between the Windsors. Today is a very special day because it is Meghan Markle's birthday. If you look her up on Google, it will tell you that she is 44 years old. It says she was born on August 4, 1981. This sounds very simple and official, but there is a big mystery starting to grow. Tom Bower, the smart writer we talked about, has found some new information. He is asking if the number 44 is actually correct. He is not just a regular person on the internet looking for attention. He has spent many years looking into the lives of the most powerful people in the whole world. He has never told a story that he could not prove with real facts. Now he is using all of his energy to look at Meghan's age. He is not looking at her pretty clothes or the fights she has with her friends. He is looking at her real age because the story she tells the world does not match the math. The more you look at the dates, the more things start to look very strange. We are going to find out about her old classmates and her family. We will look at a magazine from 1997 and a birth certificate that someone changed in secret. This mystery goes very deep, and it is going to surprise a lot of people. Meghan is reportedly feeling very worried and upset about this. She feels like her world is spinning out of control because she cannot stop Tom Bower from telling the truth between the Windsors. Tom Bower has a very big deal with a giant news company in the United Kingdom. He is going to put his new book, which is called Revenge 2, into two very famous newspapers. These newspapers are called The Times and The Sun. Every single week, these papers will print a brand new and very shocking story from his book. These are called bombshells because they are such big surprises. This is a very big problem for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. When Tom's first book came out a few years ago, they still had very fancy and important jobs. They were making shows for Netflix and podcasts for Spotify. They had big contracts worth millions of dollars. They had many famous friends in Hollywood who helped them look like heroes. But this new book is coming out after all those good things have gone away. The company Spotify fired them because they were not doing enough work. Their TV shows on Netflix did not do as well as they hoped. They even had a big mess with a business that sold fruit jam. It cost a lot of money and then failed. Tom has been looking for secrets for 3 whole years. Meghan is very scared because she can control some people, but she cannot control a writer like Tom. He has real proof like receipts and official government papers. This time they cannot change the story to make themselves look like the good guys. They are trapped by the facts that Tom has found between the Windsors. Let us look at what has actually happened since the first book came out in the summer of 2022. The story of Harry and Meghan has been like a very fast slide going down into a deep, dark hole. It is not just a little drop in how much people like them, it is a total crash. The numbers tell us exactly how people feel in their hearts. In the United Kingdom, Meghan's popularity was once high, but now it has fallen very low. It went from 55% all the way down to only 20%. That is a very big change for just one person. It means that more than half of the people who used to be on her side do not like her anymore. This is happening in many different countries all around the world too. In the year 2022, they still had big deals and people were willing to listen to their stories. Big companies were still giving them millions of dollars to talk on TV. Hollywood stars were still answering their phone calls and inviting them to fancy parties. Back then, many people wondered if they could really become the biggest stars in America. But Tom Bower already knew the answer was no. He saw the patterns and the mistakes they were making before anyone else did. He laid out exactly why their plan was going to fail. He said the public would not keep believing the things they were saying. He knew the big money deals would not last forever. Everything he wrote about actually happened. Now, the money situation is even worse for them between the Windsors. A very famous cartoon show for adults called South Park made a special episode in February of 2023. This episode was a big turning point for Harry and Meghan because it made them look very silly to everyone. It made fun of them in a way that was very mean but also very funny to many people who were tired of their stories. The cartoon showed a prince and a princess from Canada who traveled all over the world. They were yelling that they wanted to be private. They carried big signs that said, "Stop looking at us." But while they yelled for privacy, they kept telling everyone their secrets on TV and in books. It was exactly like what many people thought about Harry and Meghan in real life. The cartoon also showed a scene based on a real video Meghan had made of herself. In the real video, she was dancing in a hospital room while she was very pregnant. Prince Harry was standing in the background looking very awkward and uncomfortable. In the cartoon, they showed her dancing, and then her big baby belly suddenly fell off her body. It was just a pillow that hit the floor. The whole internet laughed and made jokes about it for a very long time. People on the app TikTok copied the dance and the pillow drop. The words "respect our privacy" became a giant joke that everyone used to mock them. It showed that the public was finally tired of hearing them complain all the time. Tom Bower watched all of this happen in real time. He saw how the big bosses in Hollywood started to move away. One movie boss said that no one wants to work with a circus like that. This was a very bad sign for their future between the Windsors. For many years, people have been looking at Meghan's pregnancy photos and seeing things that look very weird and strange. Thousands of people noticed that her belly looked like it was a different size on the same day. Sometimes it looked very big in the morning, but then it looked smaller in the afternoon. In some videos, her belly even seemed to fold or move in ways that do not happen with real babies. People would stop the videos and look at the pictures very closely to see what was going wrong. Another thing that confused people was the day she left the hospital. She walked out in very high heels with her hair and makeup done perfectly. Most moms are very tired and sore after having a baby, so looking like a fashion model seemed very strange to everyone who has ever had a child. There were also no photos of the doctors or the nurses from inside the hospital like there usually are for royal babies. Usually the palace tells everyone the name of the doctor and the time the baby was born. But for Archie and Lilibet, everything was a secret. This made people ask many hard questions. Tom Bower has been studying these mysteries for 3 whole years now. He is working with American publishers because the laws in America allow him to tell more secrets. He is going to show all the things that do not match up in her story. He is looking at things that look like anatomical impossibilities. That is a big way of saying things that could not happen to a real human body. Tom is not just making guesses. He is showing the statements and the photos and letting people decide for themselves between the Windsors. Tom Bower is also looking into Meghan's past to find more secrets that she wants to stay hidden. Official government papers say she was born in the year 1981, which would make her 43 years old right now. But some people have found older records and interviews that say she was actually born in 1978 or 1979. This might not seem like a big deal, but in Hollywood, being younger helps you get many more acting jobs. If she lied about how old she is, it would be a big secret that she tried to hide from everyone. Tom also wants to know how she paid for such a rich and expensive life before she ever met Prince Harry. She was always at a very fancy and private club called Soho House. This club costs thousands of dollars to join, and it is only for very rich and powerful people. She stayed in very expensive hotels and went on giant boats with rich men. Her job as an actress paid her okay, but it was not enough money to pay for private jets and designer clothes that cost thousands of dollars. Tom has been tracking a man named Marcus Anderson who was a big boss at the club. Marcus always moved to the same city as Meghan whenever she moved to a new place. There are many photos of Meghan on big boats with very rich people that she has never explained. Meghan has sued many people for telling stories about her, but she has stayed completely silent about these photos. Tom Bower knows that silence usually means someone is hiding something. He has spoken to people who were at those parties and saw things with their own eyes. He has had 3 long years to find the real story of how Meghan was living before she became a royal between the Windsors. Something very strange happened when baby Archie was born. Most people did not notice it at the time, but Tom Bower did. When Archie was born in May of 2019, his birth certificate was filed in a normal way. At first, it listed his mother's name as Rachel Meghan Markle. That is her full legal name. This is what happens with every baby born in the country. But a few weeks later, something very unusual happened. Someone changed the official paper. Meghan's first and middle names were completely removed from the document. They were replaced by her fancy title, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. Tom Bower asked experts if this was normal for a royal mother. They told him that they had never seen anything like it before in their lives. They said it was not standard and it was very strange. Why would someone do this on purpose? A full legal name is something that can be searched and traced in a computer. If you have a name and a date, you can find school records and old passports. If those records show a different birthday than the one she tells the world, it would be a very big problem for her. But a royal title is much harder to trace in a computer. It makes it harder for people to find the truth. Most people do not try to make themselves harder to find in official records. This deliberate move makes it look like there is a secret that she does not want anyone to find. People who understand how these papers work were very confused by it, but Meghan never said a word about it to the public between the Windsors. Tom Bower went to talk to Meghan's own family to see if they would tell him the truth. He talked to her father, Thomas Markle. Thomas has done many interviews and has talked about his daughter's childhood for a long time. But when Tom asked him a very simple question, things got weird. He asked Thomas what year Meghan was actually born. Thomas did not say a number. He hesitated and looked away. Then he said something very strange. He told Tom to go check the official records for himself. Why would a father not know his own daughter's birthday? Most parents know that date better than anything else. Then Tom talked to Meghan's half-sister, Samantha Markle. Samantha was born in the year 1964. The official story says there is a 17-year gap between the two sisters. That would mean Samantha was almost an adult when Meghan was born, but Samantha told Tom a very different story. She said the gap between them is much smaller than that. She talked about how they were close enough in age to actually play together when they were kids. She said they had a real sister relationship, not an adult watching a baby. If Meghan was born in 1981, they could not have played together that way. But if Meghan was born much earlier, around 1975, then the story makes sense. This would mean they were only about 10 years apart. Neither her father nor her sister gave a clear answer to Tom Bauer. But what they did say makes the official story look like it has many holes in it between the Windsors. Tom Bauer found even more gaps in Meghan's life story that no one can explain. There are parts of her timeline, especially in the middle of the 1990s, where things get very fuzzy. The version of events she tells the public does not seem to fill in the space correctly. Tom pointed out these holes in his big book. He said that Meghan has never addressed these missing years. No one close to her has said anything about them either. If she was actually born in the mid-1970s instead of 1981, she would have been a young woman in her early 20s during that time. That is old enough to have a whole chapter of her life that the public knows absolutely nothing about. It is old enough for things to have happened that might be embarrassing or inconvenient for her now. Tom has been hearing whispers from people